The night she walked away, she didn't even look back. He stood there, holding the same hands that once promised forever, now empty, shaking, and cold. She had used his kindness like it was nothing, and disappeared when he needed her the most. But life has a strange way of circling back. Because years later, when she had no one left, he was the only name she could remember. Before we begin, if stories like this touch your heart, don't forget to subscribe to Kindness Story Hub, like this video, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your support helps us spread more powerful stories about kindness and life. Ethan was the kind of person people often overlooked. Not because he lacked anything, but because he gave too much. He worked a modest job at a small grocery store in Ohio. He lived in a simple apartment, drove an old car, and spent most of his free time helping others. Whether it was carrying groceries for an elderly neighbor or staying late to help a coworker, Ethan believed one thing deeply: kindness always mattered. That's when Sophia walked into his life. She was everything he wasn't: confident, stylish, and ambitious. She had big dreams of moving to New York, becoming successful, and living a life far beyond small-town limits. When she met Ethan, she saw someone dependable. Someone who would always say yes. And Ethan, he saw someone worth loving. Their relationship moved fast. Sophia needed help with rent, Ethan stepped in. She needed money for a course, Ethan paid for it. She needed emotional support, he was always there, listening, comforting, believing in her even when she didn't believe in herself. But slowly, something began to change. Sophia stopped saying thank you. She stopped asking how Ethan was doing. And eventually, she stopped caring altogether. One evening, as Ethan sat across from her at a quiet diner, he finally gathered the courage to ask, "Do you still see a future with me?" Sophia barely looked up from her phone. "I don't think this is working anymore," she said, flat and cold. Ethan's heart dropped. "What do you mean?" I need more," she replied. "More life. More excitement. I can't stay here forever." "And me?" Ethan asked softly. She sighed. "You're a good person, Ethan. But you're not enough for the life I want." Those words stayed with him long after she walked away. No goodbye hug. No apology. Just silence. The weeks that followed were the hardest of Ethan's life. He blamed himself. Maybe he wasn't successful enough. Maybe he wasn't exciting enough. Maybe he wasn't enough at all. But even in his pain, Ethan didn't change who he was. He still helped his neighbors. He still smiled at strangers. He still chose kindness, every single day. Because deep down, he believed that even if people hurt you, kindness was never a mistake. Years passed. Ethan slowly rebuilt his life. He took night classes, improved his skills, and eventually opened a small community cafe. It wasn't fancy, but it became a place where people felt safe, welcome, and valued. He hired people who needed second chances. He offered free meals to those who couldn't afford them. And he listened, really listened, to anyone who walked through his doors. The cafe became more than a business. It became a reflection of Ethan's heart. And then one rainy afternoon, she walked in. Sophia. But she wasn't the same. Her confident posture was gone. Her eyes looked tired, and her clothes, once perfect, were worn and faded. She hesitated at the entrance, as if unsure whether to step inside or turn back. Ethan recognized her instantly. For a moment, time stood still. Every memory came rushing back, the love, the pain, the way she left him without looking back. Sophia finally spoke, her voice barely above a whisper. "Hi, Ethan." He nodded gently. "Hi, Sophia." She looked around the cafe, surprised. "This is yours." "Yeah," he said. "It's small, but it's enough." There was an awkward silence before she finally said, "Can we talk?" Ethan paused. This was the moment many people imagine: revenge, closure, or turning someone away the way they once did to you. But Ethan wasn't many people. He gestured to a table. "Of course." Sophia's story came out slowly, piece by piece. After leaving Ethan, she moved to New York. At first, things seemed promising. She found a job, met new people, and lived the life she always dreamed of. But dreams can be fragile. Her job didn't last. Her friends disappeared when things got tough. And the people she trusted the most used her, just like she had once used Ethan. "I thought I was chasing something better," she admitted, tears forming in her eyes. "But I lost everything." Ethan listened quietly. No judgment. No interruptions. "I didn't realize what I had until it was gone," she said. "You were always there for me, and I treated you like you didn't matter." Ethan took a deep breath. It would have been easy to remind her of the pain she caused. To tell her how broken he felt when she left. To make her feel what he once felt. But instead, he said something she didn't expect. "I hope you've learned something from it." Sophia looked up, surprised. "That's all you have to say?" Ethan smiled gently. "Life already taught you the hard lessons. You don't need me to repeat them." Tears rolled down her cheeks. "I'm sorry, Ethan. I really am." "I believe you," he said calmly. There was a long pause before she asked the question she had been holding back. "Do you hate me?" Ethan shook his head. "No," he said. "For a long time, I was hurt. But I don't hate you. Holding on to that would only hurt me more." Sophia lowered her gaze. "I don't deserve your kindness." "Maybe not," Ethan replied softly. "But kindness isn't about who deserves it. It's about who we choose to be." That moment changed everything. Ethan offered Sophia a warm meal and a temporary job at the cafe. Not because he forgot the past, but because he chose not to let it define his future. At first, Sophia was hesitant. She expected coldness. She expected distance. But what she received was kindness. Real, genuine kindness. Day by day, she began to change. She worked hard. She showed gratitude. She started helping others the way Ethan always had. For the first time in her life, she understood what it meant to give without expecting something in return. One evening, as they closed the cafe together, Sophia said, "You know, I used to think kindness was weakness." Ethan smiled. "A lot of people do. But it's not," she continued. "It's strength. The kind I never had before." Ethan nodded. It takes courage to be kind, especially after being hurt. Sophia looked at him, her eyes filled with a mix of regret and gratitude. Thank you for giving me a second chance. Ethan paused for a moment before replying. Just make sure you use it well. Life didn't magically fix everything overnight. But slowly, things began to fall into place. Sophia rebuilt her confidence, not through ambition alone, but through compassion. She started volunteering, helping others who were going through tough times, just like she once did. And Ethan? He continued being exactly who he had always been, a quiet force of kindness in a world that often forgets its value. Their relationship didn't return to what it once was. But something better grew in its place: understanding, respect, and a shared purpose. Sometimes, life brings people back not to restart a story, but to finish it the right way. Sophia once used someone who cared deeply for her. But life taught her what that kindness truly meant. And Ethan? He proved that kindness isn't about being treated well. It's about choosing to do good, even when you've been hurt. If there's one thing to take from this story, it's this: kindness is never wasted. It may not always be returned immediately. It may even be taken for granted. But in the end, it always finds its way back. So be kind. Even when it's hard. Even when people don't deserve it. Because one day, your kindness might be the very thing that changes someone's life. And maybe, even your own.